I had a thought at the end of the Eras tour, and I wasn't going to say anything because everyone was being so happy and nostalgic. But sure enough, this week I see a video. Taylor Swift is making women dumber. And I knew those attacks against Taylor were going to start, and I'll tell you why. My qualifications are that I was born in the late 1900s, shall we say. I've been a fan of Taylor since the original Speak Now era, which is a long time. And I have a gift that my mom calls prophecy, and I call neurodivergent pattern recognition. If you haven't realized by now that women in America are having a difficult time, let's talk about a few things. First, we have the disappearance of healthcare and reproductive rights, the disappearance of DEI initiatives that ensured that women got into prestigious colleges and got into high-paying, high-powered jobs. We have a cultural association beginning between femininity and infantilization, with things like the backlash to the Barbie movie and the lawsuit against Sabrina Carpenter for being sexual on stage, despite the fact that all of her songs are sexual. In trends, we have the rise of the clean girl aesthetic, which introduces shame for not wearing makeup, but also for wearing visible makeup. The beauty industry is continuing to grow, marketing on people's insecurities, but you are now expected to look like you're not wearing any makeup at all. And that doesn't even begin to cover the disappearance of body positivity. And this focus once more on being extremely skinny and doing, unfortunately, whatever it takes to achieve that look. I like to mention whenever I'm talking about eating disorders that human brains consume a larger percent of our calories than any other primate and than most other mammals. So when there's pressure on women to starve themselves to achieve a look, the pressure is really to literally be dumber and thus more easily controlled. And that doesn't even touch on the tangerine trash heap that we elected instead of choosing a well-qualified woman to be president of this country. What's this all got to do with Taylor? Well, Taylor is a focal point for the empowerment of women in America. And if women are truly going to be disempowered and disenfranchised, she needs to drastically be played down. A friend recently asked me why I thought Taylor was so impactful. Hey Dee, and when I had to condense it down, I realized that Taylor has used her singing and songwriting gifts to chronicle the cognitive dissonance between the story that girls are told and the realities that women live under. Her early albums were falling in love, fairy tales, this hope that she would find the one and have this magical romance. And then as you listen on, you hear the spell begin to break and her realizing that even this dream romance isn't going to make anything right. Real relationships do not consist of this princess sort of dynamic that we are taught as children. We center our mental and emotional wellness on a man, we are going to be drastically hurt. This has been really played up with the re-release of the albums and the popularity of the Eras tour because we're all reliving that journey from girlhood enchantment, no pun intended, into womanhood disillusionment. That whole journey is covered in the song "You're on Your Own, Kid." That song has a verse for realizing that these girlhood dreams of romance are completely unattainable and unrealistic, and another verse for these girlhood dreams of fame, of prosperity, and confidence that are just completely beyond our reach. And the thesis of the song really comes down to that one point in the bridge where she says, I looked around in a blood-soaked gown and found something they can't take away. That song speaks to us so much because a lot of us who get older reach that point where we realize we aren't going to attain this ideal romantic relationship and this ideal fame, but we find something within ourselves that can't be found somewhere else and is so much more valuable than any of those things would be. That is what they don't want us to find. Oh, if Taylor can be discussed as dumb, as childish, as only writing songs about her exes, and there can be an element of shame introduced into being a fan of her and listening to her albums, then it's so much less likely that women will be able to see that pattern and reflect on it in their own life. I'm really hoping that just by pointing this out and getting this conversation started that we can fight back against it. But if that's not enough, I just want to say to my fellow Swifties, Hold the line. Keep making the friendship bracelets. Don't let go of everything that we learned at the Eras tour. Clowning for Rep TV? 'Cause damn. And don't give up because we're going to get through this together. Every single one of us Swifties that exists makes the world a better place.